G'day guys, welcome back to another video with Enno here from Fantasy Take TV. It happened, YEO. Look, I think we're all pretty confident picking him with the ownership backed behind him. He's in about 60% of sides, but it has happened, and we do thank him for the timing of this. Ruled out for round one with a calf injury a couple of days before the season, or the day before the season starts, which obviously has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works, but again, we are thankful it's happened now and not after round one or, during round one or anyway, laid out or something like that. It's happened with reasonable time to correct. So, look, I'll be honest, put my team update on Sunday night, I think, maybe Monday, and look, it changed a couple of times since then anyway, but I've got it back up here as to what it was then. And we're going to run through a few options that we have now with YEO being out. So, look, I was down at 11 premium this team. I think, to be honest, now that YEO's gone, it's pretty much back to 12 premium. I'm spending up on the bench here. Had McLean, Radaglia, McKenna as well on there, and still 23k in the bank. So I think now with this news, he was pretty much a lock on everyone's side as that defensive mid-pricer. I've even got Jones there too, who you could take some money from. I'm going to head back to 12 premium. It's just getting the mix that's right. So, look, yeah, we sort of always knew this could happen with YEO. He's had a horror run the last 2 or 3 years anyway, but he had a full preseason up until this point. So, look, it's unlucky for him to get that right on the eve of the season. But this is what can happen with a guy that's just getting on a bit in age, just had those niggles for a while now. So you can't be totally surprised, but yeah. Well, it's disappointing for him. It throws a bit, of a spanner in the works for everyone to try and maneuver this. Do you go to another premium defender? Do you just go down to or put Liam Jones there at D3? Things we'll look at in a second. And yeah, a lot of people have sort of probably already clung on to or set on a few of their players in the midfield forward line, but there is an option now to really rejig that and put some cash from some places that you had it to probably back down in defence now. So, for instance, first thing I sort of did was obviously get rid of Yo, but look, Jack Bowes, he doesn't seem to be an option. Apparently, Mitch Cleary said last night he's not even going to line up. So there's something going on with him. The next thing I kind of thought, do you just want to go Liam Jones straight to D3? I don't love that because it does expose another sort of defender rookie. Say I don't have a Wilmot here, who I think I will end up with anyway. I think I have him in my current team that I sort of changed to. Is this something you want to run, and then you have 230k you could whack on top of a Warple maybe, or it doesn't really work out. You could maybe make him a defender, like a Ridley, and then put Jimby in the forward line, in the midfield. I don't love that either. So I think what I've done is got rid of Liam Jones, and I've taken some cash off the bench, and whether that was Flanders out and Field McLean, which is something I was toying with. So if we look at that, this gives me enough to go, say I want a Sicily or a Stewart. I think Stewart works a bit better with the cash. You can pick a Noah Long here with this amount of money, but it's not great. It's pretty tight, and I don't like his sort of long-term job security in that team. You can steal some more money. I don't have a loop in this team now that Chess has been named, and at the time I didn't think he was going to be named. Might be sort of a round 3 or 4 inclusion. You bring a Madden in. I think I'd probably still want the ruck cover from Radaglia, so you'd bring him instead of McLean, and then you could grab almost a Sheasel with this. You can't quite, or you could just keep McLean, right, and then I could just run this team. Sort of have 3 premium defenders now, straight down to a Jinby. Have to field one of Wilmot or McKenna, which might be alright. We'll again have to wait and see that Brizzy team tonight, and then sort of keep the rest of my structure. Field Will Phillips, have a decent bench option, and then have Radaglia as some ruck cover or field McLean there, but obviously at the expense of Flanders. So that's one way I was thinking of going. That's probably what I'm set on at the moment, but then again, I was thinking even further. You could drop Laird to get that back, and dare I say it, I was toying with maybe going to Josh Kelly to obviously get maybe McLean back up to a Flanders, and you don't have to go all the way down to Kelly. I think I do have enough if I wanted to run the double sort of Bulldogs mids, have enough of McRae here, run McRae and Bontempelli, get to keep Flanders, push sort of Radigalia to the bench. Obviously don't have McLean, but that was another way of going about it, but obviously at the expense of Rory Laird, who, might get some attention in round one. He's going to, absolutely more than certainly drop in price. How much is really the question, is it going to be 50k and bounce back up, or is it going to be 100k and people sort of get him around 600? That's obviously yet to be seen, and a risk to take. So that's another way of doing it. You just got to really think about those picks and how, am I really attached to Flanders so much that I want to sacrifice Laird for him? I'm not so sure. So look, it's definitely thrown a spanner in the works. I didn't really envisage myself having 3 600k mids, 600k defenders. At any point, I was down at 1, and then at times, sort of YEO D2. But obviously, that very quickly, or as we know, was always a bit of a risk, and has come to fruition. So, probably if McKenna was named, field him. Just give Cowan and Wilmot, a week on the bench and have a look. You've sort of got Chesser there, Davey. Flanders obviously actually will come on for Radigalia. So that's sort of where I'm sitting right now. I'm really tossing up how important Flanders is to me. I actually think I'm not too concerned to field McLean as much as some others are, and then that would allow me to just obviously go back to Laird, from McRae. But it's a tough one. So look, you don't have to lock in teams tonight. Obviously all we need to lock in is Doherty, Cowan if you want to pick him, and then pretty much the 2 Richmond boys in Hopper and Taranto. So it is a rolling lockout. You can change things around. Obviously as the round goes, and Friday might be pretty pivotal when we want to find out these extended benches on Sunday. There's been a few more rookies named as of this morning. I know Michelini from Adelaide, and then obviously there's a few more. Like there's some D's boys. I don't really like their job security either. So I think Jaws just put up his sort of rookie video, or his take on things. So I would check that out, because it really does dictate. Obviously structures, but you don't want to pick some guys that are really on the cusp of either being, dropped pretty soon, or even sub risks as well. So subs are a bit harder to guess. To be honest, you can't really, pretend to know what's going to happen there, and we only find out an hour before the game. But that is from emergency, so it's more those guys that maybe would get subbed off. But really, that's almost impossible to tell. The only people or type of players I would really, have a guess on would be ruckman, but that's not always going to be the case, and obviously it could be injury. So, if an injury happens early, then, well, obviously no one else can get subbed off, and that could happen to anyone. So this is what I'm sort of rolling with now. I haven't really changed it too much. Obviously I've got YEO up to Stewart via, getting some money off the bench with McLean, and then obviously with this Laird down to McRae, which is not something I thought I'd be doing. But the more I think about it, those 700k guys are really going to drop in price. And it only takes even just a low ton, like 100 or 110 in round 2 or 3, and they will come plummeting, unless they really back it up with a monster score. So it is a bit scary that you have to think about getting Laird and Clary in, at pretty quick times, and it's going to have to be, timed well. You can't control when they drop either. So some part of me thinks, do I just continue with that, or as I said, sacrifice Flanders, who I don't know how attached I am to him. Actually, a lot of people were turned off by the role, but I think it's actually quite okay. But obviously it does just allow me to pay up and keep Laird or a Clary, but I'm pretty set on Laird at the moment. So that's the other way of going about it, and it's something I'm really going to probably spend the next 24 hours deciding. Because you don't have to tonight, and the teams tonight will probably dictate a lot more of that. What do I think about the rookies? In defence, I didn't really want to expose too many of them, but now it seems that way. I don't really like. You can't go Bose, you can't go. I mean, you could go Liam Jones still, I guess, but again, I'd have to find some more money, have to steal some more money from somewhere. To field him over a McKenna or something, but Really got to wait and see those Brizzy teams, because that's really a big part of it. But they are missing Archie, Darcy Gardner, and Zorko as well, who can play back there, or once he's fit, he's just going to come in anyway at the expense of someone. So that might be McKenna, even if he plays round one. So that it is pretty hard to sort of predict. So yeah, and then last thing would be the talk of Marshall sort of yesterday with the Tom Campbell possibilities, and if he is named, I think I'll still just stick with Rowan. Look, it might be some rough or muddy waters to begin with, especially up against Darcy, who's also in my team. Round one with a shared ruck role, it might be a pretty average score. But once Membry's back, once a couple of these other guys, obviously King's going to be a while. I think he got a hamstring injury as well this morning, but once they're back, I envisage Campbell to be out of the team at some point, and then once Rowan's a solo ruck, he's an absolute smash. It'll be 115 plus. So I don't really want to muck around with that. Might just have to take a hit early, but most people are going to stick with him. And at 500k, he doesn't have to do too much to at least hover around that price. Maybe if it was 550 or we were picking him, or more up around that echelon, I might have considered not, or really considered it, but. I think at 500, it's not going to be too hard for him to hold his price, and then obviously there's a massive upside with him once he gets the solo job. So I won't keep you too long. There's probably going to be some more changes, especially once the teams drop tonight. But I am looking to possibly do a stream Friday. I think I know JD's doing one tonight, but I'll be off to the game, so won't be around for that. But as I said, really only locking in the guys tonight, and you can still make some changes tomorrow. Before the final Sunday team. So lastly, a shout out to the guys at SuperCoach headquarters who invited me down to the launch on Tuesday night. That was a lot of fun. Got the hat here, got a couple of footy and a stubby holder. So it's good to catch up, meet a few people that I hadn't before, in the community. It's growing exponentially, really. Like the numbers this pre-season have been monumental, on YouTube and just in general. So that was really good. Got down to 360, watched that live, which was good as well. So that was great. Look, don't stress too much. I mean, the panic button's kind of been hit, I guess, with YEO, but wait for the teams tonight, and it could be hit again. So just what my main bit of advice would be is just know what your options are, right? Because you don't want to be mucking about your whole team and throwing all your structures out the window just because of a couple of rookies not getting named. Just know what your options are, if that happens, right? So, if say McKenna and a Wilmot both not named, which I think one of them will be, but just for instance, know what your backup plan is, right? Like where you're going to take money from, what are you going to maneuver around if this happens? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you've done with YEO. Have you gone up to? I didn't even speak about those 500k options. Like I think George has gone to a Ridley. People might have gone back to Dacos or something. I'm not in love with that price range. I really just trust these top liners. Even a Sicily as well. If you had some extra money to go him, I wouldn't totally hate either. So I don't really love that 500k range. Obviously, what it allows you to do is get some, spend up on more of the rookies as well. Like if I was to do that, say Ridley over a Stewart, I can obviously get Flanders back and be a bit more confident there, and probably have some cash to spare as well. So that's something to think about if you do like a Ridley or something. That can work, and I think that's probably what George and even Jay, I think they're both going with that maybe. So I don't love it myself, but it's something to think about over the next 24 hours. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And good luck for round one. Don't panic too much, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Got the mojo deals, we been tripping like the 80s. Pulling out the coupe at the lot.